Next up, in the men's featherweight division, we've got Joshua Kuya Culibao versus Charles Jourdain.
Well, when you look at Charles Culibao, obviously he's won several regional titles in his native Australia, and I think he moved up to lightweight on short notice. And his last bout with Jalen Turner a couple of months ago in February, which resulted in a second round defeat, I believe, at the top of my head. So he's got the just one inch height and 4-inch reaches over Charles Jourdain. I don't know. I mean, you looked at Jourdain's performance against Uhu Choi. I mean, that was violent. I think he got the fight of the night bonus in that one. A couple of months later, he took on Andre Fili and obviously lost via a split decision, which is obviously a tough one to take. All of his wins have come inside the distance. Charles Jourdain, I don't know. I mean, this is probably going to surprise you, but I don't know. He's a huge underdog in this one, Josh Culibao, from what I've seen. I think he's got the skill set to sort of compete with Charles on the feet. He may, obviously, with that reach advantage, so he may have to resort to taking Charles Jourdain down and sort of exploit that underwhelming, in a way, wrestling technique from Charles Jourdain. But this is a stupid pick for me to say this, but I'm going to go for the upset on this one, Charles Culibao via decision. I think he's got the skill set to sort of get the victory, and if he implements his wrestling and his ground game early on, then we may see an upset on this one.
If you're right, you're going to be on our monthly Who Called It Wednesday show, my friend.
What's the odds on that?
We're going to be rich.
The odds are plus 350 for that.
I mean, I guess I can see that Charles Jourdain has been in with the stiffer James, I'm sorry, were you done with that?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I mean, I can see him being a big favorite, just being with who he's been in the cage with and who he's beat. He beat Hoi Chi. Lost a split decision to Andre Fili, who's a stud. I'm going to go with the guy that has a little bit more experience. But I wouldn't be surprised if I keep getting this guy's name mixed up. I wouldn't be surprised if Culibao doesn't finish him. So I'm gonna stick with the pick. I'm gonna stick with my pick with Jourdain. I think he gets it done just from experience only, but probably not a bad bet either, James. I'm going the other way. So
it's a huge gamble.
Yeah, it is. That's why we play, right?
100%.
My pick's Jourdain.
I actually think Jourdain's. I think he's a pretty surefire lock. One thing that I really like that I see with him, he has not won a fight by decision since his amateur career. Every single one of his pro fights, he has won with a finish. And I think finishers are unique, and he's never been finished. So that's and he's lost, but all of his losses are to tough guys. Obviously, a split decision to somebody who's ranked in the top 10 of the featherweight division. He can hang with the best of the best, and I think Andre Fili is just one or two big wins away from being a superstar in this sport. And the fact that he could go toe-to-toe with him just a few months ago says a lot to me. The other advantage that I really like is his about 10 amateur fights versus his opponent's only 3. I think you see a lot of successful MMA fighters that have lengthier amateur careers. They're more experienced and more prepared. So just because he does have an advantage in a little advantage on his pro record, that amateur career is, I think, a big deal because his probably last like 4 to 5 amateur fights were probably against borderline pro caliber fights. So I really like him. I really like those factors when I'm looking at fights. And I think that makes it about as sure of a thing for Charles Jourdain. And I will go with the second round finish because finishing is what he does.
I agree with you completely, Zach, that amateur records are a little bit underrated when people are looking into people's fight careers. I think they see pro fight and they think it counts, and they see amateur fight and they think it doesn't, and that's just not the case. So I definitely agree with you there. Charles Jourdain is a finisher in every sense of the word, and I think he's going to get it done here. I think he's going to get it done in the first round, and if I had to make a hot take, I think he's going to get it done in the first 3 minutes of the first round. I mean, all he does is go in there and knock people out. And I think he's going to go in there and he's going to knock somebody out. I'm a big fan of Charles Jourdain. I'm excited to see where he goes in the UFC.